Could you tell me a little bit about the Pit skate park?
I just started skating, and initially we all street skated, and then everyone was like, "Oh, you live down the street from an indoor park." Had no idea. Went down there, pretty nervous. Really had just started, had no idea what I was doing, and it was like walking into the Wild West. Um, there are people younger than me. There are people way older than me. It's nothing but movement. Everybody's in motion. People are talking, saying hey to each other. Some people saying nothing to each other. Everyone doing the same thing, but completely different things. Yeah, it kind of just blew my mind, essentially. It was like walking into an explosion as soon as you open the door. Just loud noises. Yeah, it was crazy. What was the second part of that question?
What kept you coming back to the skate park?
I mean, I guess a little bit of adrenaline, a little bit of curiosity. Um, every time you go, there's familiar faces, but you're constantly meeting new people. Essentially, you run into a lot of people, and if they're older than you, they don't necessarily talk to you like you're a kid. They kind of have conversations with you like you're an adult. So that was kind of an whole interesting thing that also kept me coming back is that, whether you were younger or older, there was still that sense of like we were kind of peers doing the same thing. But yeah, I mean, that definitely had me coming back. An indoor park, I feel like, is such an important aspect to a skateboard community just because, I mean, every part of it involves creativity. You have whoever's making the ramps, and people working on that. Most parks have art inside of them. Most parks host shows, so they double as like music venues or, art fair kind of things. But mostly it's kind of like a place for you to go and, you could have as much solitude as you want or, as much camaraderie as you want. But in the end, you're kind of pushing yourself and doing your own thing. And, really, there's always going to be judgments, but there's not too much judgments because everyone's kind of focused on like what they're trying to do. So even if you're doing something and it's weird, it's usually kind of supported.
What benefits do you think an indoor skate park would bring to a community?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I've ever seen an indoor park and I'm like, this doesn't help where it's at. Obviously it's a business, so it gives back to the city and that avenue. But I mean, you give a lot of people constructive places, a constructive place to go and do something with their time that, might otherwise be wasted or, doing something less constructive. You have, older individuals who skate, and I mean, that benefits their interactions in their life because it's an outlet for them and they're happy. And, when you're older, you kind of get sometimes into that like rut of monotony, like I'm working or, I have to take care of my family and it's an outlet for them. And if you're younger, I mean, a park is an entire learning experience. You go there, you learn your own boundaries, you learn from the people you encounter, you get to know whoever owns the park. So, even as a kid, you become friends or at least acquaintances with like a business owner. So you kind of even learn a little bit of aspect of that. I mean, it may not be super technical, but I mean, you see someone kind of doing their own thing. And that can kind of push you in a lot of ways too.
That's awesome. Man, alright, that's good. Dude, you have like a killer fucking voice. The first question that I have written is, how did the pit become part of your life, and what was it like in the beginning?
So the first time I went to the pit, I believe I was around 13 years old. I'd heard about this indoor skate park, private place where you had to have a key and you had to know somebody to get in. It wasn't like open to the public. It was a if you know somebody kind of basis to get in the skate park and ride. And I was told that it was owned by a BMX guy, like a pro BMXer. And this was during the time when Mike was starting up Trek and the Trek Pro team. They were doing stunt shows and they were traveling and doing contests. And Mike was opening the skate park, and it was kind of the hybrid point between making it a public park and making it keeping it a private indoor terrain, which is what the acronym stood for. I went there for the first time with a friend that had a key to get in, and it's so I can remember this, talking about it like it was yesterday, walking into that door and the overwhelming smell of masonite, and you feel like all of those decks that you were looking at in CCS magazine all the time were all alive. They were all there. Everybody was there skateboarding, riding bikes, and rollerblading. And there was a pro shop to your right, and you looked to your left, and there was this gigantic wall of masonite and plywood, and it was a vert wall, but it was so high it went into the ceiling rafters. You couldn't visibly see the top of the wall. And I remember it was like personified, like it was this, god of masonite staring down and writing you the grant of passage to come inside and try riding your bike. And I was so intimidated by it and nervous. It was just so cool, falling and crashing and learning and growing, and you were so attached at such an important, pivotal time in your life. For me, when I started really frequenting the pit, I was a freshman in high school, and it was a place where I could build a lot of confidence in myself, a place where I could meet new friends. It was my home away from home, appropriately titled. I'd go right after school and I'd stay there until they closed at 10 o'clock. It was just a really awesome time of life and experience in life, finding that place.